Hello, this is Claus Jensen. Today I'll have a look at the game Carlsen-Ivanchuk from round 7 of Corus 2010. And I've chosen this game because there are some interesting positions where you could train your calculations. And of course it's also interesting to see that the GMs do blunders from time to time. So, okay, Carlsen is white, Chucky is black. It's a Slav defense, d4, d5, c4, c6. This is very popular these days. And I'll just play through some of the opening moves here. And in this position, the normal move is bishop g7. This is the main line, but Chucky here plays bishop e6, which looks a little strange. Putting some pressure on c4, of course, but that should not give Carlsen any problems. b3, and a few more moves here. C takes, knight takes, bishop takes, e4, bishop e6, and queen takes c5 now. So a little strange opening play from Ivanchuk, and Carlsen has now won a pawn, and the only compensation for black seems to be pressure against d4, as we shall see in the game. Knight c6, attacking d4. Bishop e3 is protecting d4. Rook c8, and Carlsen has to move his queen away from discovered attacks in the c file, so he plays queen a3. And now we can see that black is attacking the d4 pawn 3 times, and it's only protected 2 times. So the question here is, can Chucky take the pawn here on d4? And I think this could be an exercise if you want to train your calculation skills. Then you should try to figure out what happens if black takes the d4 pawn with the knight, and what happens if black takes the d4 pawn with the bishop. So this could be an exercise if you want to pause the video and figure that out. If black takes with the knight, then Carlsen would take with the bishop, and after the bishop takes, then queen a4 check, and this would be winning for white, as the d4 bishop is now attacked 2 times from white. So this won't work. And if black takes with the bishop instead, then after knight takes, and then if queen a4 check here, then of course black would simply play knight back to c6, and this would be okay for black. He has won back the pawn. But instead of playing queen a4 check in this position, then white would play queen b2 instead, pinning the knight, because now it cannot move away, and then with the h8 rook would be hanging instead. So in either case, black would lose the game if he takes the pawn on d4, so the pawn cannot be taken. And of course Chucky saw all this, and he castled instead. And then rook d1 followed, and again the d4 pawn is attacked 3 times and only protected 2 times. And the question again is, can the pawn be taken at this point? And Chucky believed that it can be taken. At least that's what he did in the game. He played knight takes d4. And perhaps he was hoping for knight takes d4 in this position, because then bishop takes, and if Carlsen would try to pin the bishop in the d file, then bishop c3 would escape with check, and in the next move Ivanchuk could move away his queen. But Carlsen didn't take with the knight. He took with the bishop, which is much stronger. And now after bishop takes d4, then bishop b1, and now the bishop is pinned in the d file, and it cannot move to c3 with check, because then knight takes c3. So this is why it's better to take. It was better to take with the bishop on d4 rather than the knight. So a good play from Carlsen here. Bishop c5 and b4, and now both the bishop and the queen is threatened. And what is the best solution for Ivanchuk here? What should he do in this position? Again, you could pause the video and try to figure out what the best continuation for jockey would be in this position. The best solution is probably to give away the bishop and play bishop takes f2 check, and after king takes then a queen b6 check, and of course black has lost a piece, and he has only one pawn for that piece, but still there would be some chances for black in this position. Another possibility is to play bishop d6, and then Carlsen would play e5, again winning the bishop, but then after bishop c4, e takes. Black could apply some pressure in the e file, because the knight on e2 is pinned in the e file soon when black starts playing rook e8 and queen e7 and so on. But still, I think white would be able to manage. So probably bishop f2 check would be the best possibility for black in this position. But Ivanchuk played something different. He took on d1, and this is of course a major blunder, because he only gets a rook and a pawn for his queen, and that's not adequate. And taking on f2 here, and now the rest of the game is simple for Carlsen. I will just move through the rest of the game. Carlsen simply plays to try and exchange as many pieces as possible. Here the rook exchange, and then he pushes his pawns forward, exchanging some pawns on the king side, and then moves his queen into a position where he can give checks, and he gives a check on a7, and the king has to go back to the 8th rank, and then the g6 pawn will fall, and white is completely winning here, and Chucky didn't need to see any more from the world number 1, so he resigned the game here. I'm sure this was not the best game you've ever seen, but I think it's interesting to see that even a super grandmaster like Ivanchuk can make blunders in important games. And I'm of course speaking of this queen takes d1. And I hope you enjoyed the game, and I hope you enjoyed some of the calculations, and I hope to see you on my blog at clausjensen.com. Bye bye for now.